Today, we're kind of moving beyond the usual strategies of, goal setting and achievement. We're looking at a philosophical framework that's focused on aligning your actions, not just with your ambition, but with these fundamental principles that govern the natural world.
That's right. We are doing a deep dive into the material outlining the 7 spiritual laws of success. And the premise is really compelling. True success, affluence, joy, real achievement, it should feel spontaneous, not like this constant uphill battle.
Right.
It's about leveraging these spiritual laws to shift from, forceful effort to something more like effortless manifestation.
So our mission here is to take these pretty profound, sometimes ancient concepts and pull out the specific practical steps, the daily commitments that let you actually apply them. We're going to move methodically, starting with the inner self and ending with outward purpose. So let's begin with the foundation, the most internal of these principles, the law of pure potentiality.
This law, it asserts that your true nature is pure consciousness. It's the field of infinite possibilities, of creativity, of perfect balance. It's the true self. It's the source of all knowledge. Fundamentally, we are the immeasurable potential of the universe.
Okay, but if we're all infinite potential, why do we so often feel, limited or fearful and just constantly striving?
I think the key here is the difference the material makes between 2 kinds of power, ego power versus spirit power.
Precisely. Most of our modern striving is driven by what it calls object referral. This means our internal stability, our sense of worth, is referenced outside of ourselves.
A job title, a bank account.
Exactly. External approval, social media metrics, you name it. And the moment that external object is challenged or removed, our power just vanishes. It's inherently fear-based.
So if I only feel powerful because I have a specific corner office, that power is, it's temporary, it's dependent. Correct. But self-referral, or true spiritual power, is rooted in the spirit itself. And because this power is internal, it's immune to criticism. It's fundamentally unfearful. It recognizes its own infinite worth. And what's really remarkable is that this permanent power, what's called the support of natural law, it actually orchestrates external circumstances. It draws people and opportunities to you without force.
So the goal is to shift from chasing objects to recognizing the source that's already within. How do we access this field, then? It sounds like we first have to quiet the noise, which the material calls the internal dialogue.
That dialogue is just the ceaseless inner commentary and assessment. And the primary practice to quiet it is meditation and the commitment to silence. And when we talk about silence, it means total non-engagement. No reading, no listening, no screens, just sitting, just being.
I imagine for a lot of people, especially starting out, the initial experience isn't quiet peace. It's more like frantic chaos. It's the mind throwing every single urgent thought at you.
That turbulence is the energy waste we talked about. But if you stick with it, the mind eventually settles, and you begin to access what the material calls the gap.
The gap.
The gap is that silent space between your thoughts. It's the direct connection to the infinite organizing power of the universe.
That's a beautiful image, that the space between thoughts is where our true power is. So how does judging things affect this access?
Judging, classifying everything as good or bad, right or wrong, is the single biggest generator of that internal turbulence. It's like stirring up mud in a clear pool. When you judge, you actively squeeze the gap. You constrict the channel to your potential.
Which is why that daily commitment is so powerful. Starting the day with the decision, today I shall judge nothing that occurs.
And finally, communing with nature, a stream, a forest. It connects us because nature itself operates from that place of effortless intelligence.
Yeah.
It doesn't judge. It just exists and creates.
So the commitment for this first law is pairing that daily silent meditation with the active practice of non-judgment.
Exactly. To experience the stillness of the true self.
And once we establish that inner stillness, that sets us up perfectly for the next step, which moves us into motion. The law of giving or dynamic exchange.
Stagnation is death. In biology or in finance, the universe operates through ceaseless circulation. Think of your body. Blood has to circulate, air has to circulate. If you hoard energy, it coagulates and the whole system fails.
Money, then, is just a symbol of that life energy. And if the primary intention is holding on to it out of fear, you're actually stopping its flow. Even though the word affluence itself literally comes from a root word meaning to flow.
It must flow like a river, yeah? Not be dammed up in a reservoir. And the most effective way to start that river moving is to commit to giving something every single time you interact with someone.
And this is where we have to emphasize that the most powerful gifts, they aren't material.
They aren't. They are the non-material gifts of caring, of attention, appreciation, and love. You might not have wealth yet, but you always have the ability to give kindness. I love this simple suggested practice. Silently sending blessings to everyone you meet. Just wishing them joy or happiness or laughter. Costs nothing, but it generates enormous circulation.
It also reminds me of that classic wisdom, never visit anyone empty-handed. Even if you just bring a compliment or a sincere prayer, you're acknowledging that exchange. But if this is the law of dynamic exchange, that must mean receiving is just as important as giving.
Absolutely. So many people are great givers, but they're terrible receivers. Often it's misplaced pride or just discomfort. But refusing a gift is blocking the circulation just as surely as refusing to give one. You have to gratefully receive all the gifts the universe sends your way.
Whether it's a compliment from a friend or just the beauty of a sunset.
Exactly. The commitment is a dual action, giving freely and receiving gratefully.
Okay, so now that we've established the internal source potentiality and the external flow, giving, the next logical step must be aligning our choices within that flow, which brings us to the law of karma, or conscious choice making.
Karma is simultaneous cause and effect. We are infinite choice makers, which is the source of all freedom. The problem is we usually forget that we're even making a choice. Our behavior becomes highly predictable. We are, as the text states, bundles of conditioned reflexes.
That description, conditioned reflexes, is so powerful. It's like Pavlovian conditioning applied to our emotional lives. Someone says one thing and automatically our ego triggers offense or defense without us ever realizing we could have chosen a different response.
Exactly. The way out is to stop reacting automatically and start witnessing. Step back and simply observe the choices you are making in real time. That single act of observation moves the choice from the unconscious realm into the conscious realm, and that gives you the power to intervene.
So if I'm about to choose a fence, I pause and watch myself choose. And before making a big choice, I should apply those two critical tests.
Yes. You asked two simple but profound questions. First, what are the consequences of this choice? Not just for me, right now, but down the line. And second, and this is crucial, will this choice bring happiness to me and to those around me? If the answer is yes to both, that's what's called spontaneous right action.
That second part, happiness for me and others, that ensures the choice is aligned with the highest good. So it generates positive karma instantly.
And if you're still not sure, the guidance mechanism is incredibly simple. Consult your body, your heart, or your solar plexus. Intuition registers as physical comfort or discomfort. Your rational mind is great for logistics, but your heart is intuitive, it's holistic, it's relational. It knows the right choice faster and more accurately.
That's a great way to synthesize knowledge with feeling. But what about the consequences of past actions, past karma? We can't just wish it away.
No. The material offers 3 ways to handle those karmic debts. The first is to pay the debt, which, usually involves suffering through the consequences. The second is to transmute or transform it. You look for the seed of opportunity inside the suffering, and you tie that learning to your life's purpose. You turn pain into wisdom. And the third, the most powerful, is to transcend the karma entirely by repeatedly going into the gap through deep meditation. You're essentially washing the slate clean.
Transcending through stillness, it all connects back to that first law, doesn't it? And once we make conscious, karma-aligned choices, we move toward maximizing our efficiency, which leads us to the law of least effort.
This is one that gets misinterpreted a lot in modern society. We're so steeped in hustle culture, this belief that success requires pain, strain, brute force. But look at nature. Grass doesn't struggle to grow, it just grows. This law is about the economy of effort, about doing less and accomplishing more.
So what's the mechanism that allows us to do less and accomplish more?
Love. Least effort is expended when your actions are motivated by love, because love is the fundamental energy that binds nature together. When we seek power or control or approval for the ego, we waste astronomical amounts of energy. Carlos Castaneda observed that most of our energy is spent just upholding our importance.
So if we stop fighting, we save energy, the path of no resistance. It's defined by 3 powerful commitments.
First is acceptance. Just accept people, circumstances, events exactly as they are in this moment. To struggle against the current moment is to struggle against the entire architecture of the universe. The moment is as it should be.
The second is responsibility, and this is often misunderstood as blame. But true responsibility is the ability to have a creative response to a situation. It means choosing not to blame anyone else, knowing that every single problem contains a seed of opportunity to transform it.
And third, and this is my favorite, is defenselessness. It means relinquishing that desperate need to convince, persuade, or defend your point of view. I mean, think about how exhausting political arguments are. The material claims 99.9% of the energy we waste is used just defending our perspective. Be flexible, like a reed, not a rigid oak that snaps.
That freedom of not having to be right, that really is an energy saver. And by freeing up all that energy, we can now direct it effectively. Which leads us to law number 5, the law of intention and desire.
The universe is just energy and information. But human consciousness is unique. Our nervous system lets us consciously alter the informational content of our own bodies and our environments. And we do this through 2 inherent qualities: attention, which energizes whatever you focus on, and intention, which transforms that energy.
So intention is desire, but harnessed. But it has to be desire without attachment to the outcome. When we release an intention, what kind of power does it have?
It has infinite organizing power. Intention is powerful because it's non-local. It operates everywhere at once. Think of it like a cosmic computer. You input the desire, and once you release it, it orchestrates an infinity of space-time events, pulling together all the necessary details to manifest the result. You don't have to micromanage the universe.
That trust is key. Where should our intention be grounded for it to have the maximum effect?
In the present moment. The past is memory. The future is anticipation. They're just qualities of consciousness. The present moment is what's real and eternal. An intention grounded in that stillness and detachment is the most potent catalyst for creation.
Okay, so the path to fulfillment has 5 steps. Let's walk through those carefully.
It starts with accessing the stillness. 1, slip into the gap. 2, release your intentions and desires. You can literally write them down and commit them to the field. 3, remain in self-referral. Don't let others' opinions, good or bad, sway you. Keep your desires private. 4, relinquish your attachment to the outcome. And 5, trust the universe to handle the details.
That 4th step, relinquishing attachment, that's the foundation for the next law. And I think it's the most difficult concept for a modern mindset to really grasp, the law of detachment.
It's the ultimate paradox. To acquire anything, you must relinquish your rigid attachment to it. You hold the intention, but you can't be attached to the specific result or the timing or even the form it takes.
But doesn't relinquishing attachment, doesn't that sound like giving up on the intention? How do you hold firm to a desire without caring about the result?
The difference is subtle, but it's vital. Attachment is always rooted in fear and scarcity. It's attachment to the symbol, the money, the house, the title, which creates insecurity. That reliance on symbols for happiness is what the material defines as poverty consciousness. Intention, on the other hand, is rooted in the conviction that the universe can and will provide.
So seeking certainty is it's counterproductive.
It locks you down. Security is an illusion. It's an attachment to the known, the prison of past conditioning. If you cling to certainty, you stifle creativity. The wisdom here is that uncertainty is the fertile ground of pure creativity and freedom.
Embracing uncertainty opens the door to adventure and mystery. And this leads directly to the concept of luck.
Yes. When you're operating in that fertile ground of uncertainty, you are alert and prepared in the present moment. And that alertness lets you spot the opportunity that's contained within every problem. When preparedness meets opportunity, the spontaneous result is good luck. It isn't random chance. It's a product of detached, alert awareness.
This philosophical progression takes us right into the final all-encompassing law, moving us from internal stillness and trust all the way to outward expression and fulfillment, the law of Dharma, or purpose in life.
Dharma means purpose. We manifest it in physical form to fulfill a unique purpose, express a unique talent, and serve others. And the law provides a formula for unlimited wealth and abundance. Unlimited wealth is created when your unique talent, that thing you do better than anyone else where you literally lose track of time, is matched with unique needs, which just means service to humanity. The moment you're expressing your talent in service to others, abundance just flows naturally.
So the goal isn't just identifying the talent, but also shifting that internal dialogue. The ego asks, what's in it for me? While the spirit asks, how can I help?
Exactly. The 3 components of Dharma are clear. 1, discover the true spiritual self, which we did in Law Ox. 2, express your unique talents, which puts you in a state of bliss. And 3, serve humanity.
And what are the key practical self-inquiries we should be asking ourselves daily to anchor this law?
2 things. First, if money and time were of no concern, would I still do what I currently do? This immediately tests if you're aligned with your unique talent. And second, how am I best suited to serve humanity today? That daily question ensures you're activating the mechanism for flow.
That is a phenomenal, coherent system. If we look at the flow one last time, it's it's really beautiful how the laws support each other.
They create a perfect loop. The law of pure potentiality is activated by the law of giving, which generates good karma. Good karma allows you to operate with the least effort, which facilitates clear intention. Intention requires detachment from the outcome, and that detachment allows you to focus solely on your dharma, your unique purpose in life.
It's a self-supporting mechanism for living authentically. And as we close, the ultimate source of wisdom for this material reminds us of that profound reflection from the Buddha on the transient nature of existence, that our life is as fleeting as an autumn cloud or a flash of lightning.
Since the expressions of life, our bodies, our moments, our achievements are momentary, this little parenthesis in eternity is precious. It's only worthwhile if we stop struggling for control and instead choose to share with caring, with lightheartedness, and with love.
And when we approach the world with that spirit, abundance and joy become a spontaneous result for us and for everyone around us. We encourage you to reflect on these 7 principles: potentiality, giving, karma, least effort, intention, detachment, and dharma. Which one of these laws are you going to commit to implementing first to consciously shift your internal experience today?